All right. So let's talk about Suspiria, shall we?
Oh
Ah,
boy.
but allow me
Um,
allow me to kick things off, and I'll actually do the
yeah.
synopsis, right?
What
But
catch me
you
off guard with
first.
this movie? Before we start, what catch me off guard with this movie is how they really feel and shot like a 70s movie.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. That
Which is good. I actually appreciate that about the movie. I really do.
right. And another thing, well, we'll talk about it when you do the synopsis, won't you?
Yeah. All right. So my history with Suspiria, right? Um, I saw the original 1977 movie, the cult classic,
Yeah.
directed by Dario Argento. It is one of his most popular works, although I would say it is his best work, not by a long shot. I enjoy it for what it is. Like I love the psychedelic visuals, the colors that they use. I love the soundtrack fit, very moody, very creepy. I think a
Yeah.
little too creepy. Like the Rel try to creep you out with every single scene that they added to. Um, I actually rewatched it before watching this new Suspiria here,
Yeah.
and it is a fun horror flick. It's one of those movies that you watch with you watch with friends and you just kind of laughing at how cheesy some parts are, but you do come out of it kind of creeped out though. Even though I find that the third act lead up to the end is really ridiculous. But what I like though is just the aesthetic, that just the this it's a haunted house movie basically, but it's just done in this really creative, unique way, with the use of bright colors, a lot of reds, a lot of oranges and
Yeah.
yellows and stuff like that. Well, Dario Gento does Gaio films. I believe that's how you pronounce it, Gaio or Galio films, right? Which is basically murder mysteries. And,
Right.
Suspiria starts off like that. But what made this one interesting is that it goes into the supernatural aspect, where it's not really about somebody killing people. It's some sort of entity or some people behind the scenes that orchestrating these really elaborate deaths, and you're really wondering what's going on until you understand the very end. So it's very
Yeah.
unique now in terms of just how those films were. And yeah, it really does deserve its cult status. It is one of the greatest cult movies of all time. I would not say that it is a masterpiece by any stretch of the imagination, but I enjoy it. I really, really, really dig the original one.
Yeah.
Ricardo, have you seen the original Suspiria? What
Yeah.
are your thoughts on it? You care for it or you don't care for it?
Yeah, I get it. It really campy and kind of jokey for its time, but it's one
Oh,
of those things
that's the word, you hit it right there. Campy. It's very, very
right.
campy actually.
Yeah, it works on its own. These kind of things. That's why I was so weirded out and surprised by this one because like it different in almost every way, though.
Yes, exactly. Like I was telling
Yeah.
myself, okay, it's inspired by, because clearly this is not a remake, but kind of is what he's drawing from the original and what he's using. You know what I mean? Not to say that it has to be like a shot by shot remake of it, but it was just these creative choices were kind of weird, though, and it kind of works, but then it kind of doesn't work. But I'll get into this remake here, right? Just the synopsis. So it is directed by Luca Guada, Guada, Guadagnino. Sorry, he is the guy who directed Call Me by Your Name, which I remember
Right.
was one of your favorite movies. I enjoyed it as well, not
Yeah. It
as much
was.
as you do, but I really enjoy the French New Wave take on this romantic story. And I love
Right.
the final shot of it, but it does have this sort of early 80s feel to things, especially with the font and the text, and let's see the aesthetic of
Yeah.
it. And it won a few awards as well. I
Yeah.
think it won best original song, and yeah, the song for that was really nice though, really, really heartfelt and just sweet. You know what I mean? And yeah,
Yeah.
great performances from Armie Hammer and forgetting Homeboy's name, but he was
So
nominated for best actor.
right.
Timothy Chalamet.
Charlie, yeah. Right.
Yeah, forget the names now, but whatever. Right. So this one is set in 1977 Germany, right? And
Yeah.
this is right during the German autumn, which is
Yeah.
because I know nothing of German history, even though I did do
Uh,
a class on German film when I went to the States on the foreign exchange thing. Yeah, so I don't know the full historical context of things, but they do hit you on reminders of just what was going on at that time. It just really serves as a backdrop for this story here. But you sound like you were familiar with the Juba Autumn.
No, it's just general. I think it's something to do with a kind of general. If I remember correctly, something to do with the clash between Bonn and Berlin. Because remember it was Cold War now. Something to do with
exactly.
Things just kind of fell apart, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right. So, just like in the original movie, the character is Susie Bannon. She's played this time by Dakota Johnson, who really is shutting off that that 50 Shades, just washing that off clean. It's like, all right, I'm a real actress this time. I'm really gonna show you how great of an actress I am, right? So she's an American woman, and she arrives at this German ballet school, basically.
Yeah.
So unlike in the original movie now, where that person kind of flees and then gets killed, right? In this case, it's Weigel, let me see if I get it name right. Right, Chloe Grace Moretz, who I forgot was in the movie, and she ends up fleeing and ends up running into a character by the name of Dr. Joseph Klemperer, who is played by, shockingly enough, friggin' Tilda Swinton, though.
Yeah,
and I didn't even know that until like after.
I don't know why they try to hide this because it's so obvious, and then they decide to have the alias. Like when you check the name is
in the credits, you see the alias. Like what? This put her name though. But but she's playing this German doctor more like a psychiatrist, I would say. Yeah.
Right.
It's kind of funny when I was watching character because I was listening to the voice, like, why did her voice sounded so weird, so slightly feminine? As only when the movie done, I was like, oh shit, is actually she? Wow, okay. Yeah. They do this. Sorry, Tilda. Respect to her, doing these kind of roles. Okay, whatever. And she also plays the character of Madame Blanc, who is also a character from the original Suspiria, right? She is one of the women who run the school. Just like in the original, there's some deep dark shit going on. And Suzanne is aware of it. She befriends a couple of girls. One of them by the name of Sarah, who's played by Maya Gott. And but Sarah, on the other hand, is trying to break free. She's trying to, she actually enlists the help of Dr. Joseph, try to figure out what's going on. But at the same time, Suzanne seems to be more and more enamored and just getting more and more deep into the school. She's being persuaded more and more to push herself as a dancer, and she just really goes into it, basically, almost to the point that she's gaining some kind of sexual, satisfaction from it, right? Which is kind of weird, but I was expecting that in the movie anyway, right? So, long story short, just like in the original one, the school is actually a front, if you will, for this coven of witches who have been pretty much hiding in secret for centuries, basically. And they have their own kind of creepy stuff going on, some of which, unfortunately, is not really revealed. And Joseph somehow finds himself involved in all the shenanigans. And that's all I had to say about the premise. Ricardo, your honest thoughts on Suspiria.
All right, so first thing, note to self: do not eat lasagna while watching movies like this.
I was eating, but not in that particular. Was it in a particular scene in the movie?
Right, and it's when okay. So it was at the end. I was like, oh, this is a mistake, though.
oh, there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but
we'll talk about that end in a bit.
I did like this a lot, but I felt it was a bit obtuse for me, and it only really got going. It's only the last 30 minutes that I was like, wow, this movie should have been a little shorter.
Yes, I agree with you. One of the biggest flaws in this movie is that this shit clocks in at 2.5 hours, though, almost 2.5 hours, while the original one was like 102 minutes roughly, or 105. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there was no need for this movie to be so long, but
yeah, that was my big issue with it, and because it just paced itself so weird. And I couldn't, I was like, I barely remember the original because I watched it a long time ago. I remember it just being kind of weird and campy and strange.
Yeah, but it was straightforward. It was just I I don't want to say that simple narrative because I kind of find the last act it just should just sort of get weird.
You're right.
Kind of like with this movie here, but not as over the top as this one, but whatever. But yeah, it was pretty much
Yeah,
a straightforward narrative.
right. And yeah, I agree. And then that's the thing. So they decided to do some tell it so like opposite to what it tried to do, but then it shoot like if it shoot back in the 1970s, and it's so bizarre.
Yeah,
It's very bizarre, in that way. However,
yeah.
um,
Well, just to touch on the way how it's shot, right? So, okay, so I call in big auteurs, right? Have you ever heard of a guy called Rena Werner Fassbender?
no, sorry,
All right, so
don't filmmaker,
he
but that's so far.
is arguably one of the most famous German directors
Right,
that ever that ever made movies, right? And
right,
there was one movie that he made. I forgot the name of it. It's I think it's called The Marriage of Eva Braun or something like that, right? And the
right.
look of it really felt like that, which is just these muted colors, just gray and browns and all that kind of stuff. It just feels like all the color just being sucked out now because it's winter
Yeah,
time now. And it just has that look to it, just the way how it's shot. And because they use Kodak, Kodak film for this thing, it
yeah,
kind of really reminded me of that movie now, just that sort
yeah,
of 70s film look. So in other words, it feels like a German New Wave movie, like literally something that came out in Germany in 1977. It looks
yeah,
legitimately like that.
yeah. This from this, yeah, I agree. Had
Yeah.
that same
And
green, same color green, same everything. Yeah,
yeah, and it's a far, far, far departure from what Dario Argento was doing with his Suspiria, where
yeah,
although in retrospect I think it works more with Dario Argento than this one here, where it's bright colors, say giving the illusion that this is an art house horror film, when in actuality is
right.
just a sleazy, schlocky haunted house movie, but just with bright colors to make make you assume it's art, right? And speaking of art, speaking of art, uh, from the trailer, I was telling myself, all right, this have an art house feel to it. I have no problem with that. But I didn't expect this movie to be so incredibly high art though. Like a little too much, way, you know what I mean? And this is kind of a good thing in terms of just being different and being unique, but kind of a detriment as well too, because I find it's more about artistic stuff, just highfalutin stuff as opposed to just telling a straightforward narrative. Like there are scenes literally, right? Like little scenes. Well, in the original movie, characters were having nightmares, right? But you didn't really see the nightmares themselves. In this movie,
Yeah,
you see them. And I don't know, for me, they were feeling like something out of a Lars von Trier movie. Just all these
yeah,
quick cuts, this weird shit. And it's like, wait, what the fuck was that? What? And then it just cuts to something else. And just keep going and going and going. And unfortunately, they never really explain anything. It's just weird shit. Like just a character would be, some bloodletting would take place. A character would get killed or some sort. And it's like,
right.
what's going on? Why? And they just never really explain anything, right?
Yeah, to
And
just
to me,
yeah,
that just brought the movie down to it. Just felt like it just okay, trying to be artsy, but to the point that if you don't understand what's going on here, is just because you don't know how to watch art films. And I'm sorry, I watch art
right.
films. What the fuck you think I could pull up Rena Fassbender? You know what I mean? I watch art films, but give me a story that
Yeah,
that could actually digest and actually understand what's going
yeah.
on though.
It
And
it only
really,
well,
really the pace is what brings it down though, because they're
yeah,
like, okay, where's this leading up to? But we're
yeah.
dragging here. Why? You know?
The movie only had two good highlights for me. The opening thing with the first death by
Oh,
Danson.
that first that was
Right.
was
Very well done.
fucked up though, but it was very well done.
Very, very
And I
well.
will say though, you see how you talk about eating lasagna. Don't eat anything. I was lucky enough not to eat anything, but when I saw that, I was just like, God
That wasn't so
damn.
bad. That wasn't so bad phase. Then the last 30 minutes when she discovered the truth of the whole thing, and it had this one character in particular they made particularly disgusted. Um,
Yes.
that's the character. That was when I was like, all right, I should try to chill out in the eating of lasagna
Yeah.
while watching this.
Yeah,
Um,
here's the thing about that ending, right? Or just that third act, right? This is where literally shit just hits the fan and everything just goes
Right.
insane. Like literally insane. It is one of the most insane climaxes of a
Yeah.
horror movie I think I've ever seen, right?
And I
Um,
thought that was good. And I kind of got what was going down in the ending, right? In terms of this, oh, this is what happened in this way. I barely remember the story, and I was like, okay, this is what happened. Kind of remember
right,
the craft a bit in terms of like what the power structure is. Like, oh, you have a bunch of
right,
witches, and
with the witches and stuff, yeah.
yeah, they have a bunch of witches, and they're abusing power, and the person who's the supposedly most innocent outsider one is end up being the most strongest of them
Yes.
all. Like, all right,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, you
Kind
get
of a
it. That's
spoiler, but kind of not really. But because the
right.
show is kind of alluding to it anyway, right? But
Exactly.
what I like about that sequence, what the one thing that I like though, it kind of explains more about the dynamic between the coven themselves. Because in the original one, it was just oh they're witches and they do weird shit, and there's this one person in the shadows that kind of orchestrated everything, but you don't really see who the person is, and then you know because we focusing on Susan so much, it's kind of like just her trying to get out before she gets killed, right? In
Right.
this case here, while I get what he was going for with the climax, I don't know, it just kind of left a port like a bad taste in my mouth. Like I don't know, like I just watched it, I was just like, all right, it's weird and it's hired, but I didn't feel satisfied by it. You know, that's the best way I could describe it. I just kind of I saw it there. I was like, all right, this is a lot, but I know, like, I was like in my head, I was telling myself, all right, I know in the climax we're going to get something like really weird and fucked up, and I get that, but I didn't feel satisfied by it. You know, it was just like, okay, things happen, and then the reveal happens. It's like, okay, this is what you're going for. All right, and then I swear the last shot of it felt like a friggin' Enigma video. You know, if you're familiar with Enigma videos, kids ask their
Yeah.
parents, they kind of know where I'm coming from. You know, with the lowered shutter rate and just how the images move and just what's going on in the shot. I was just like,
Yeah.
all right, but why am I not feeling this? Right? This just feels way like bordering on pretentious,
Yeah.
bordering. Right? And then I tell myself, okay, this is the end. All right, okay, weird way to end things off. And then you get the epilogue by. And
Yeah.
this show already, they say right off the beginning, as when you see Amazon Studios, blah blah blah, presents a film in 6 acts and an epilogue. I'm like, all right, okay. And the first 5 acts kind of bleed into each other, but the sixth one is where shit hits the fan, and then you get the epilogue. And I was like, okay, we still have 12 more minutes again with this movie though. What?
Yeah.
What they could really tell in this piece here? And then you get the actual climax of the movie, and it involves Dakota Johnson's character and Dr. Joseph, right?
Right.
And I was like, okay, so this is what it led up to, because really and truly, it like I guess what they try to talk about is about German history itself. There, well, and they try to compare it with motherhood and the matriarchy and try to move on from the past. And if you don't know about your history and all that kind of stuff, there. But it just felt like two different planes of existence trying to merge together into one movie. Because like, all right, you have the wit stuff going on, and you kind of invested in that, but then every time they would just stop and talk about some shit going on in Germany and the war, and then World War Two, and then Dr. Joseph end up fleeing Nazi rule and all that kind of stuff there. So it's
Yeah.
like you're bringing in this narrative, but this subplot, but it doesn't really fit in with everything else that was going on there. And they have this climax, like I said before, which tries to merge the two together. I was just like, all right, but what is Joseph's story? Because a reveal about somebody involved in Joseph's life. But I was like, and Dakota now that she has become who she is telling him the story. I'm like, but what does that to do with you? What does that to do with
Right.
the witches? This have nothing to do with that though. It's just I am here to tell you the story because I have to end your story arc. My own doesn't really end. It's just that, well, I guess it kind of end with the Enigma-esque scene, but I don't know. It's just like they try to tie both arcs together, and it just didn't work for me. And then the final shot, while I get like I understand, like it's history, get it, but I don't know. It just felt like it was just two different films I was watching here. So overall, I don't know, man. I just kind of came out of it really underwhelmed, man. I really wanted to like
Yeah.
it. It just was okay. If they just took all the historical stuff and just had it there as a backdrop and nothing more, I'd appreciate this
Right.
thing more. But they just had to stretch things out and make us, try to understand German history, and it just felt totally different and totally disconnected from what was going on in the school. And then with the stuff with the school, like I was looking for somebody to kind of relate to, somebody who I could kind of follow. And at first I think it is Susanna, but then Susan, sorry, but then it was Sarah, and then something happened with Sarah. So it's like, okay, what's going on? And then okay, well, another good thing I like to the dance choreography. Yes, the choreography was
Right.
excellent, right? But it
Yeah.
was to a point where you actually get the main scene, the part that is always advertising, where the characters dressed in these kind of red, kind of slitty, kind of strappy, sorry, kind of outfits basically. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, like, all right, aesthetically, I get where they're coming from, and it looks great. It's very creepy, but at the same time, it's so like a car. Your eyes are glued to the screen when you see them do the performance, right? But I was like, but what does this lead up to? And this is another thing that disappointed me. It's like, all right, we have all this witch stuff going on. They kind of hinted early o'clock. Yes, there's some creepy witch shit going on, but why? Why is all this witch stuff going on? Now, if
Right.
initially they were saying, oh well, Susan is gonna be, yes, she's a perfect sacrifice. All right, cool. So it's leading up to that, but then it stops. And it's not like that. It's about Sarah now, and then something happened to Sarah, and then go back to it. But like, all right, so but what was the point of having that dance sequence to begin with? Like, is it to show the world, hey, we're actually witches? We're just kind of giving you a clue because when Joseph actually goes and he sees the thing, he's like, oh shit, yeah, something's wrong, clearly wrong here, and that's why he goes further to investigate. But I was like, all right, what is the purpose of this? And then leading up to the end now, where you actually see the full reveal and all the weird shit that actually going on behind the scenes. Once again, what's the purpose? What's the point of all this? So in short, I didn't leave the movie asking myself what the fuck. I left I really asking why the fuck.
Right.
Why the fuck certain things happened, why certain things were in the movie. It just didn't explain itself. Even the historical stuff, I was like, why? Why? What does this have to do with anything? The wit stuff, what's the point? What's the purpose? What is it all leading up to? And it ultimately kind of comes out to nothing really, and I don't know, I just really felt underwhelmed because I felt kind of cheated in a way.
Yeah.
But what are your final thoughts on the movie before we get to rating?
Yeah, no, I largely in line with you. Again, as I said, obtuse. Time. That's the main thing. Cut a good, I don't know, 45 minutes on this, in my opinion. And it could have worked a little better. It just was too long.
Yeah, it was. And I don't know, like I was watching say I just felt like the life just being like sucked out of it. So by the ending, I just felt like drained, but like I just really didn't know what to make of myself. I didn't know what to make about what I saw. Like I can't say I hated it, but I can't say I loved it neither. I just kind of indifferent it right now. And you know what? Props to Luca for doing something different and not making a remake in the traditional sense. But to me, it was kind of like this could have just been its own movie and not Suspiria. It was just Suspiria by
Right.
title and setting, right? Well, the ballet
Right.
school, but nothing
Yeah.
else about it really felt like it was inspired by Dario Argento's film. It was just Suspiria
Yeah.
by name and location. That's it. But this could have been something else though, because it really does feel like something else. Although I will give credit though, there's a lot more dancing and emphasis on ballet, unlike in the first movie. First movie didn't have that much dancing in it, so props for that. And like I said, the dance choreography was on point. Um, the music mostly was good, although I kind of hated the song that they was playing during the climax. I think it's the same
Right.
one that they played at the end. I don't know. I just hated it. Really felt like
Yeah.
some Enigma shit, but whatever. But overall, I don't know. For me, like as much as I want to give it a 3, boy, I just kind of came out of it like just asking why. What was the point of all this? Maybe
Yeah.
I just don't understand art, understand it, but give me art with a point, there, art with a reason, art with a purpose. Actually justify why this movie was remade to begin with, right? So, sorry, for me, I'd give this a strong 2.5 out of 5, man. See it
Right.
if you want to
Yeah.
see it. If you're really curious, give it a look. But if you love the original one, stick with the original one. Or if you haven't seen the original one, I strongly recommend you check that one out before you check this one out. If you like high-fluted artsy stuff, I guess you'll like this. But yeah, just give a art with a story and a purpose and a story that doesn't drag, please. Please, that's all I want. What
Right.
was your rating, Ricardo?
Yeah, I give this. I don't know. In my head, I have about a 5 out of 10. But the good is very good in this, so I still give it like
It
a
is,
six
it
out
is,
of
it
10.
is. Oh, and credit where credit is due. Acting is great though. Like Dakota
Yeah,
Johnson,
there's a
she
lot. There's a
commit to
lot
that
in this to like.
performance, boy. Wow, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot in this to like. So I don't really see. It's not like I hating on this per se. It just, yeah, it just, it just obtuse. That's my thing with it. That's the word I keep coming back to.
Nah,
Like,
it is, it is. It
uh,
just doesn't feel normal. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel straight, I should say, or whatever.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
And last, like unlike the original one, I really don't see myself watching this movie again. Maybe the next 5-10 years when somebody give me like a video on YouTube that fully explain what's going on, I guess. But other than that,
Yeah, I can't get myself to care about that, But yeah, I agree with. I could.